I guess I mean, you're welcome.
Here's your hosts of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster Jack and Ryan.
Next up, we have AEW All-Access was announced, okay? This was the important announcement. Still, a lot of people on social media don't know the difference between important and huge, right? So they keep acting like Tony Khan is Dixie Carter when they don't know the difference between the two definitions.
Why does he make a huge announcement every week? Bro, this is the first one in like months, and secondly,
he didn't say
that's not
huge,
what he
he
said.
just said important. It was an important announcement, and technically it was right. He was right, because, well, I won't say he was right until I watched the show, but what I will say is, Adam Cole and TK obviously announced AEW All-Access coming next month, a 1-hour show immediately following Dynamite, okay? And thank God we don't have to see Power Slap anymore right after. So, and it focuses on behind-the-scenes stuff, things that a lot of the core AEW audience is obviously into, because that's what people, like, we're all a part of that part of it. There's no, well, there might be now, but there wasn't when the AEW started. We were the smart fans, the smart marks, whatever. They weren't the casual 8-year-old kid knowing who all these people were, right? So it's basically a follow doc, and it's basically what from what I perceive, what they were saying is it's gonna be what I wanted the Cody and Brandy show to be, but didn't end up being.
Right.
Okay, so, or at least I hope it is. That's what I'm gathering from everything that's been said. But it'll follow Eddie Kingston, Adam Cole, Britt Baker, a lot of people backstage and stuff like that. So I'm interested in it. Obviously, WB is interested in it, or they want to greenlit the show in the first place, and it's another hour of programming for AEW. So all the people out there that were saying, "Oh, AEW is dying, they're not happy with their ratings and all this other bullshit," then why did they give them another show? All right, so like that shit needs to stop right now, because like they would not have given them another hour of programming if they weren't happy with what they were providing us with their other two shows.
You know what is funny about it though, is that that Tony Khan was shopping around Ring of Honor, and this had to have come up. They were like, "Hey, like, we want to do another hour of programming with you guys?" And Tony Khan had to say like, "Hey, I've got this whole other wrestling brand," and they had to have been like, "No, no, we don't want another wrestling brand. We don't want Ring of Honor. We want more AEW." Does that seem weird to you?
But okay, so I get what you're saying, but we also don't know how long this show was in development. They're not starting the show tomorrow. They've got the footage already. It's about to start airing. So I guess we'll have to see when the first episode airs what footage they use and how far back it goes to be able to determine just how far back they made the decision to do the AEW All-Access one before he started trying to really pitch Ring of Honor. Because you got to remember, as soon as he bought Ring of Honor, it wasn't like he started pitching Ring of Honor TV shows the next day. He had to get all his ducks lined up and everything and figure out what the hell he was doing with it and all this stuff. And then when he started talking about, hey, I hope they bring them to the I hope to bring it to a streaming service or a network in the near future, we had to take that time frame and try to line it up with what the oldest footage is that they use from the AEW All-Access show.
Well, the way they made it sound, right? So Adam Cole announces it, and he says, "I'm going to have a match on that on the show, and then right after that is going to be All Access, and then All Access is going to have me in the show." So I would assume that the show is like the lead up to his return, right? The All Access stuff is probably like the lead up to his return, which was only like a month ago. So it's probably only like a month lead in.
He's been gone for a lot longer than a month.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that like it's the build up to him coming out to make the announcement that he's back.
Yeah, but he also said that you're going to see what he went through that whole time. So that's a long ass time. That's a lot of footage that they have to go through and edit or whatever. So I don't know.
if it's too much of a delay, I think that'll hurt the show though. Like if it's like
I
shit
agree
from,
with
like,
that, but it's also
a
not
year
before
ago.
AEW, it's after, or it's not before Dynamite, it's after Dynamite. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I get what you're saying too.
Yeah. Because like when WWE releases stuff, it's normally like
yes, I understand. Like the wrestling parts of Total Divas or the wrestling parts of Cody and Brandy was way before the shit that actually happened. So yeah, I understand. Yeah, for sure. But you're gonna watch it though, right? At least the first episode, you're gonna see what it's about. And I guess we'll review it kind of on the show too after the first episode, because we'll talk about it that week, obviously, and see if it actually is what we thought it was gonna be, if it's gonna be interesting, if it's something that we'll continue to watch type deal. but we also know that WB is heavy into this type of programming. The Discovery side is. So when they merged or whatever, and now it's Discovery Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever, it doesn't shock me that this type of program from AEW is coming out.
They had to have seen too, and this is. I don't know that this is the right comparison because it was so much more scripted in comparison to what they're selling this as. But they had to have seen the success of Total Divas too on that network and looked at that and said, hey, that actually brought in a lot of viewers to watch the actual wrestling product that probably wouldn't have otherwise because it was like a reality show about people and their weird little interactions or whatever the fuck. So they might be looking at it from that frame point too.
Which would be fine, but I don't know I don't think that aired at fucking 10 p.m. either.
I don't know when it aired.
You know what I'm saying? That was on a network that didn't have any other wrestling and aired it probably in a primetime spot, right? So they're gonna. How many new viewers do they really think that's gonna bring in if you're WB in that situation?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's an interesting question.
I guess it'll be. I guess it'll also determine if they replay it in the morning type deal too. You know what I'm talking about? Like when they replay stuff, like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
On Sundays, something like that, and then maybe a housewife will be clicking through and be like, oh, what's this reality show type deal, and maybe get into it or something like that, or a dude that doesn't know anything about wrestling and is like, oh, this is interesting, that likes reality shows. It could work like that if they plan on showing it multiple times in other time slots where it doesn't interfere with other wrestling shows, which would be morning, afternoon, whatever.
You think Danielson heard about this shit, sort of having like PTSD flashbacks to?
I think Danielson will be all right. I think Danielson will be okay. I think this show is definitely going to focus more on the wrestling aspect, obviously, and more of the behind-the-scenes stuff than Total Divas did. But yes, he could potentially be like, damn, man, I just got all these cameras off of me type deal.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting more, I think, with somebody like a Eddie Kingston. And how much profanity do they leave in and don't leave out?
At that time slot, they could probably leave in a little bit.
At that time slot, yes. But if they were planning on replaying it, they're gonna have to have an edited version as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it is more than I think I'll care about. Like actually, I mean, I'm still gonna watch it. It kind of like I watch BTE every week too, and there's a lot of weeks where it doesn't really nothing happens. They're just backstage hanging out. They're showing the travel stuff, like whatever, and that's still fine. Like I'll still watch it.
The vlog style. Yeah, like Sammy Guevara, Ethan Page. Yeah, I mean it's interesting to watch when you catch it. Yeah.
If it's just like a more straight version of that, then yeah, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, I'm not saying out here that TK needs to make this a connected part of the universe or anything like, oh, storylines need to happen on here. Like, what I'm saying? Like, because that's not going to be possible because of the way
timing
they shoot
that would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's terrible. That would be a nightmare to try to fucking do. So, but yeah, in a vacuum watching it, I think it'd be kind of fun. And you never know, we might be able to talk about something that happened on there on the show and be like, oh, we got some more information that we didn't know or whatever, about something that we heard about, something like the Eddie Kingston Sammy Guevara shit or the Andrade Sammy Guevara shit. Who knows what they're actually going to have on tape and show. So I think it'll be interesting.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, and you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.